Guys, where any conversations with Trey Hendrickson are right now?
All right, let's have somebody else get it. Thompson, you got something? I don't throw anything on or off the table with Trey. We're excited about attacking this offseason. We have resources to attack the offseason in a big way, and we want to do that. In terms of how we're going to do that, how we're going to allocate our resources, who is it going to be on, our own free agents, what's our intentions there. I'm not going to get into that right here. It's just not the time to announce that to the rest of the league. So that's the best way I can answer that.
In your evaluation?
Yeah, we try to keep a lot of people on our radars for sure. And, for us individually, the way that we operate, pass protection's a big thing. You obviously got to have skill to carry the ball, and you've got to have skill to be a pass game threat to some degree, and you've got to be able to protect. And the position with the Cincinnati Bengals is pretty demanding. It really is. And that's what Chase came in and really embraced is how do I become a complete back and stay on the field. And he became a pass protector. He became a threat in the pass game, and he's obviously a very talented ball carrier. So we look at all three, and we don't really rank them 1, 2, or 3. They kind of got to have it all for us to feel like they can be an every down contributor for us.
How do you balance your desire to upgrade the roster this offseason with potential extensions, Chase Brown, DJ Turner, Dax Hill, those guys?
Yeah, in terms of extensions and how that affects the rest of it, sometimes you can do extensions within the cap count that you currently have, and sometimes you can't. We juggle all those things. We have a number of resources, and we're going to use them the best way that we can to improve as many areas of our roster as we can. We have things that we definitely want to get done, and we've put a lot of time into it. We've had a lot of people involved in trying to sketch out the best plan. Now, the best plan never goes as orchestrated, but we have a good plan in place, and we're looking to improve our team in every way we can. And if that's with extensions, so be it.
Last year, Duke, you guys obviously took Shamar in the first round, then you took 2 linebackers later. Did that process, that approach to rebuilding the defense teach you anything about how you might use the draft to do likewise this year?
Yeah, we're always trying to fit, where we're picking to the talent level. And we don't want to just reach for a need. And so we're picking 10th this year. We're not going to rank 10 of the same position in order and take the 10th best guy at his position. So you always have to be flexible in terms of the positions. But yeah, there are definite areas of our football team that we're looking to enhance, and it can come from within, but some of it has to come from external sources, and the draft is a big chance for us to really hit on guys that can be long-term contributors for us, and then we'll look to free agency and maybe with some extensions, and we'll try to fill it in the best we can.
Might you check?
Yeah, AI. Yeah, we dabble in AI. Yeah, we try to use as many resources as we can. It's still new to us. Analytics is not new to us. Analytics has been around for a long time, just in different forms. It's become more prevalent, and it's become more robust over time. But it's been around ever since somebody timed to 40. That's an analytic, and so as long as that's been around, or how tall are you, or how much do you weigh, those are all analytics as well. So it's grown in importance, and AI continues to develop over time, and we're trying to stay up to speed on it for sure.
How big of age when you're evaluating prospects at that time?
Age in terms of the college guys,
Yes.
We're getting a lot of variation there because a lot of guys are staying in longer. I don't believe a 25-year-old is old. I think a 25-year-old is young. Still has a lot of football left in his body. So it's a data point. It's something we're aware of. It might affect the longevity down the road. But sometimes it can also be a benefit. The guy's a little more mature in his body, a little more stable maybe in how he conducts himself. in his personal life or whatever it is. But age is a number. Guys are playing longer these years, and so it's a factor, but it's not a big factor for us.
Well, you might spend that that you did in free agency in 2021 and 2022.
In 2021 and 2022, I'm kind of forward looking, so I'm trying to think of exactly what all happened in those years. But yeah, we're going to attack it, and try to build our roster from all sources. And the draft is one of those sources, free agency is another, perhaps re-signing some of our impending free agents is another, extensions so they don't get to free agency is another way to do it. But we're going to look at all areas, and we're going to try to attack this offseason and fit our needs with the right people. And that's what our focus is, and we're excited about it because we have resources to go out and do some things.
Where you guys at in your conversation with Dalton Reisner, and how much did a very public kind of support from teammates, how much does that impact when you are talking to him?
With Dalton Reisner?
Yeah.
He came in late to the process, really fit in. I thought it ended up being a great fit for him in how we play, and he became a great fit for us and came in and filled the need for us. Did a nice job, fit in well. I've got a ton of respect for him. Really enjoyed getting to know him. He's really, a fantastic person just to be around in the locker room on a day-to-day basis. And he's a guy that we've talked to, and we'll see if we can get something done. He's got decisions to make, and we've got decisions to make, and he's a guy that we like a lot. So the questions on whether we're all in or not, I've been doing this a long time. I've never not been all in. We are all in. We are trying to get the best team possible with the resources we have. Last year we went all in. We signed over $400 million worth of contracts going all in. That's what we do. We want to be all in. We're trying to put the best roster together every year, and this year is no different. I've always been very impressed with Al, and the thing, Al is very flexible. He can take what he has and make a good defense out of it. He can, and I believe that, and I think he will do that. He has a vision for what he wants to be, and it's my job to go out and fill the needs that will fulfill that vision that he has. And so, yeah, do I have 100% confidence that we'll get that done together? I do. I believe in Al. I believe in Zach. I think their vision is the right vision, and it's on the guys in the personnel department, with their help, to go out and identify guys and then see if we can get them signed. It's a two-part thing. You can want somebody and maybe they don't want you, or they go somewhere else and they're not available to you. But we want to identify the right ones, then we want to go out and attack and see if we can get them to Cincinnati.
You've mentioned to help the team get better.
We're back to Trey. Yeah, I'm not gonna talk about how we're gonna deploy our resources and what our intention is with the tag, or I'm not gonna close any doors on any player that we've had or any of our free agents up here today. I'm just not going to do that. Trey's been a great player for us. He didn't have the year he wanted this year. We didn't have the year we wanted this year. Those are factors, and we'll see where we go from there. But in terms of how we're going to deploy the tag, if we are going to, that's not something I'm going to talk about here. Yeah, it's a data point. I think AI would have told us that it was pretty good, and it was fast. That's a position, depending on how you want to play them. And we want guys that can run and cover and play in man, cover deep balls, and he showed that he had those traits. He showed it on tape. So the 40 time was more of a confirmation of what we believed he was, what we saw on tape. If the 40 time doesn't confirm that one way or the other, we go back to the tape and we determine whether his playing speed is good enough or not. But it's always comforting to know that a player you feel is fast comes out and runs fast, then you're pretty confident in your assessment. The conversation, which one was that?
You and Joe kind of talked about how the season went, kind of had a debrief at the end of the year.
Yeah, I haven't had a real good time to sit down and have a debrief with Joe, if that's what you're asking. I've had a few conversations with him, and I always enjoy our interactions. I really do. I can tell you he doesn't feel the season went well, and neither do I. So I think we're aligned on that.
Especially this year, and the physicality and what your defense plays, and how you guys can kind of get to that type of defense that can kind of get you back to the top.
Yeah, Seattle did a nice job, and they had a very good front, and they had a physical front, and they had a wave of guys that kept coming through, and that's something every team wants. You know, you ask anybody in my position with any of the other teams, they want that defensive line, they want the wave, and we would like to get to the point where we have a couple different groups we can deploy in there and keep them fresh and really get after the passer. And you got to stop the run in order to get after the passer. And it was impressive to see, you know, Seattle's D-line play, and they had a great scheme. And congrats to them. John's a good friend of mine. You know, I'm excited about Shamar. All of us are excited about Shamar. The first year didn't go the way he wanted. You know, he didn't have a ton of practice. He played healthy in the first game, and then he wasn't healthy the rest of the year. And that's tough on a young guy, because when you're not healthy, you're also not practicing. And so he didn't get those reps. To his credit, he had never been injured in his football career ever. And he had two pretty significant injuries this year, battled back to be able to get on the field for us, and that was that was good to see. That was good to see, you know, his ambition and his drive to, I'm getting back out there, I'm not going out like this, I want to play. And so those were all positives. But to analyze his season is tough, because he really wasn't healthy beyond the first game. Yeah, you know, you want guys that play football well, but you want guys that can play NFL football well. And those traits are what drive a lot of really great players. And we do like guys that are big enough, fast enough, strong enough. You know, you have to have those things. You can't just have desire. Desire with not any physical traits, you know, you're going to be doing my job, and you're not going to be playing NFL football for us. But there's a marriage between the two. Young guys like those two that you mentioned, those guys have a lot of future in front of them, and so we want to build that future with them, and we believe that that'll be a really positive future.
When you have a consensus of, okay, this is something we need to add more of.
Yeah, in order to be a leader, though, you got to have skins on the wall, and you got to play effectively, and the rest of your teammates have to know that you are producing at a high level. It's hard to lead, you know, when you're not out on the field or you're not producing well. So the first trait of a good leader is production, is actually producing in a way that everyone respects and wants to mimic. So you have to have that, and then you have to have, you know, the outward charisma, and you've also got to be willing to have tough conversations with people. And so finding leaders sounds easy, but there's a lot of components that go into that, and there's a lot of different leadership styles that can work. And I think we've got some inside of our own building that'll continue to evolve and grow in those roles. And then if we can find some ready-made guys who have the skins on the wall that come in and help us in those areas, that'll be good.
How do you target that?
Unfortunately, we're really far along. You know, when your season goes kaput and you're out of it, you're into this area a lot quicker. And we have stability on our coaching staff, and so we are far along. We feel very confident in what we want to do, who we'd like to do it with, and we'll see if those things can come together. But we feel like we're really prepared for this event and for free agency.
What are the most important traits you're looking for in top college prospects at this point?
The most important traits?
Here, yeah, in Indy, when you sit them down or when you talk to other people, what are you looking for?
The number one trait, you have to love football. You have to be playing football because you enjoy the game. If you're playing football just because of what it brings you, it's normally not going to be a long-term thing for you. You have to be playing football because you love doing it. And so we really want to know, does the guy love football? If it didn't bring the things that NFL football brings, which are great, but if it didn't bring those things, would he still be playing? Would he still be playing in the Arena Football League or wanting to go to the CFL? Or does he love the game? And then we can build off of that. Does he have the traits to play? Does he have the speed, the size, the strength? Does he have the production? Can he develop the production? Those things all come after. Does the guy enjoy being out there, being in the locker room and competing? And that's the number one thing we're trying to find. It's not easy to put a pin on that. Nobody will raise their hand and say, nah, I'm not about that. You know, they'll tell you they're about it, but you have to judge their actions, how they play, their interactions with their teammates, the information you get from the sources at the school, and you have to divine whether the guy really enjoys what he wants to do for a living.
All right, thanks, Duke. We're gonna